All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are talking about something absolutely critical for anyone using AI, and that's AI governance. Now, you might hear governance and think it's all about, I don't know, rules and red tape. But we're going to see how it's actually the key to turning a huge risk into a massive advantage. So let's just ask the question straight up. Is your AI a ticking time bomb? I know, it sounds dramatic, right? But honestly, without the right kind of oversight, even the most brilliant AI can have these hidden risks that could literally blow up in your face. The real challenge isn't just knowing the bomb is there, it's figuring out how to defuse it. And look, this is not some abstract what-if scenario. This stuff happens. Just look at Amazon back in 2018. They built this cool AI recruiting tool. The idea was simple. Let the AI find the best candidates. The problem? They trained it on 10 years of old resumes, and, well, most of those came from men. So what did the AI learn? It taught itself that male candidates were better. It actually started penalizing resumes that had the word women's in them. I mean, can you believe that? In the end, Amazon had no choice but to completely scrap the whole thing. And that story right there, it perfectly sets up why we need to talk about guardrails. The Amazon situation wasn't just some random bug or a one-off mistake. No, it was a symptom of a much bigger issue. It shows us that without a real strategy, a real structure, things can go very, very wrong.
You know, when AI messes up, the fallout is just huge. We're not just talking about a piece of code that doesn't work. We're talking about real-world consequences. Your reputation can be shredded. You could be facing massive fines from regulators, and maybe worst of all, you completely lose the trust of your customers and stakeholders. And that is incredibly hard to win back. This is exactly what AI governance is designed to prevent.
Okay, so where do we even begin with this? Well, the first step is to clear up a really common point of confusion. This is a big one, a place where a lot of companies get stuck. It really boils down to the difference between meaning well and actually doing well. It's principles versus practice.
In this comparison here, just nails it. Think about it like this. On one hand, you've got responsible AI. That's your why. It's like your company's constitution for AI. All the big, important principles and values you believe in. But then, you've got AI governance. And that's your how. That's the actual rule book, the processes, the controls, the system you build to make sure everyone actually follows that constitution. And if you don't have the how, well then your why is just a bunch of nice-sounding words on a website, right? This gap is super dangerous. When you go out and say, oh, we're committed to fair and ethical AI, but you have no real system to enforce it, that's what's known as ethics washing. It's basically a hollow promise, and when things go sideways, and they will, that trust you claim to have just evaporates.
So, how do we build a system that's not just hollow words? Well, any good AI governance framework is built on what you can think of as 3 foundational pillars. These are the absolute must-haves, the core ingredients for building AI that people can actually trust.
So what are these pillars? First up, we've got fairness and bias mitigation. Second is transparency and explainability. You'll hear this called XAI a lot. And the third pillar is security, robustness, and privacy. Okay, so let's unpack each one of these because they're all super important. All right, pillar number 1, fairness. This is all about actively hunting down and getting rid of harmful bias. And I really want to stress the word actively. This isn't something you can just check for once and say, we're good. Bias is sneaky. It can creep in from your training data, the algorithm itself, or even how people interact with the system later on. So the big takeaway here is that you have to be constantly on the lookout. It's an ongoing job. Okay, next up, transparency. You've probably heard that a lot of the coolest, most powerful AI models are basically black boxes. What that means is they give you an answer, but even the people who built them can't tell you exactly how they got there. It's kind of spooky, right? Well, that's where explainable AI, or XAI, comes in. It gives us a set of tools to crack open that black box and understand the why behind the AI's decisions. And that's not just for customers to trust it, it's also a massive help for your own teams to find bugs and make the model better.
And our third and final pillar ties together a few crucial ideas: security, robustness, and privacy. This is all about the nuts and bolts of building a system that's safe and that you can rely on. It means you got to protect your data, you got to be able to fight off attacks, and you need to be sure your model will work correctly even when it sees something weird or unexpected. And super important, privacy can't be an afterthought. It has to be baked in from day one.
All right, so we've talked about why this is so important, and we've covered the 3 pillars, the what. Now it's time to get practical. Let's talk about the how. How do you actually build this governance engine inside a real living, breathing organization?
First things first, it starts with people. You can have all the best policies in the world, but if nobody is accountable, it all falls apart. You absolutely need clear leadership from the top, someone like a chief AI officer. You need a diverse group, an ethics committee that can look at projects from every possible angle, and maybe most importantly, for every single AI model, for every data set, someone's name needs to be on it, someone has to be the owner. Without that clear responsibility, the whole system just doesn't work.
Now, the good news is you're not starting from scratch here. You don't have to build all this in a vacuum. There's a whole world of frameworks popping up to help guide the way. You've got things like the NIST framework in the US, which is really practical and risk-focused. You've got high-level principles from the OECD. And then there's the big one everyone's watching, the EU's AI Act, which is actual binding law.
And this EU AI Act is having a huge ripple effect, something people call the Brussels effect. Here's the deal. Because the EU's rules are so tough and so comprehensive, big global companies are finding it's just easier to adopt those strict rules for everyone, everywhere, rather than trying to manage a patchwork of different standards around the world. So, like it or not, the EU is basically setting the global baseline.
So, what does all this mean for the future? Well, one thing is crystal clear. AI governance is not a one-and-done project. You can't just check a box and say, yep, we're governed now. It's really an ongoing commitment, a core skill that your entire organization has to build and maintain if you want to succeed.
And that journey can feel a bit daunting, so here's a really simple way to think about it, a kind of roadmap. You start with step 1, discovery. You got to know what you've got, right? So make a list of all your AI systems and figure out where the risks are. Step 2 is formalization. This is where you create your committees, write down the official rules. And step 3 is optimization. You start automating things and you weave governance right into the fabric of how your teams build and deploy AI.
I love this, because it really forces a shift in how we think about all this. See, everyone starts this journey thinking about one thing, reducing risk. And yeah, that's super important. But the real long-term payoff, the true impact, is in building unshakable brand trust. And this is the surprising part, actually making you innovate faster. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. When your teams have clear guardrails, they have the confidence to push boundaries and move faster, not slower.
So if there is one single thing you take away from all this, let it be this. AI governance isn't about hitting the brakes on innovation. It's the exact opposite. It's the steering wheel. It's the GPS. It's the system that lets you navigate safely at high speeds. It's what truly enables you to unlock the incredible power of AI, turning what could be a terrifying risk into your single greatest strategic advantage. And that, right there, is the whole game.